Hello gentlemen and gentleladies, my name is Sir Stanger, and today we're going to be talking about Paladins, a game that I've been kind of putting off talking about for a while, but I'm finally going to go ahead and dive into. Now, everything I'm about to say is exclusively my opinion, and if you have a different opinion of this game, then by all means, you're more than welcome to have it. I'm not telling you whether or not to like or dislike this game. I'm simply here to tell you my thoughts on it and what I think of it, especially compared to both Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, games that I feel like it's pretty closely related to. Now, by the time this video comes out, I should have put at least around 20 hours into Paladins. That's quite a bit of time for a review. I'm really trying to make sure that I get plenty of game time in, make sure that I'm playing a lot of the game, so I have a pretty good idea what it is I'm going to be talking about. I don't just want to go in and talk about a game that I've never really played, so rest assured, I've played it for a fair amount of time. No, I am no pro at Paladins, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there ready to look at my gameplay and say, wow, you're Sir Stanger, you are so trash at this game, and you know what, you're probably right. I'm probably not the best at Paladins around, but we're not here to talk about whether or not I'm good at the game. We're here to talk about whether or not the game is good, especially compared to its competitors. Now, I was compelled to make this review after I released my Overwatch Safe TF2 video, where a lot of people in the comments section were saying, well, instead of playing TF2, wouldn't people who want to play Overwatch and can't afford it play Paladins instead? Many people argued that it was a better game than TF2. Many people argued it was a better game than Overwatch, and a lot of them were saying that it was just better because it was free and you had to pay for Overwatch. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are pretty salty about how much Overwatch costs. Regardless of that, that's a topic for another date. That's the big reason why I wanted to talk about Paladins today. So this video's been a long time coming. I've been making it for a while. I've been playing a lot of the game, trying to get a good sense of, how the game plays, how everything works, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about it. And the last thing before we get started is that I am fully aware that this game is currently in a beta, and with that knowledge, I did go in and, acknowledge the fact that some of the things I'm seeing, maybe because it's not a final version of the game, any problems could be potentially fixed when the final version rolls out. So I do understand that this game is not in its product state, and that is perfectly fine. I understand that, the game cannot be perfect before it goes out, but I think we all know that a lot of betas released these days are very similar to the game when it actually is released. So I also had to take that kind of with a grain of salt. So please take a listen to what I think about what the current Paladins beta looks like. Whoever is in charge of music over at Hi-Res Studios truly deserves a raise, because from what I have heard over the Paladin soundtrack, each track fits its current situation perfectly. Every menu, every single battle situation, it all feels perfectly complemented with the excellent soundtrack that Hi-Res Studios has provided for Paladins. Each song truly does an excellent job of making everything that you do feel grand and large in scale. Every single thing from the tubas to the piccolos to the drums all really accentuate every battle that you're in Paladins. In fact, the music might be my favorite thing about this game, which is why I absolutely had to list it first as one of its biggest positives that I could possibly think of. I mean, just take a listen. The soundtrack from Paladins is guaranteed to get stuck in your head. While by no means revolutionary, the graphics within Paladins is nothing to shake a stick at. The game looks relatively pretty for what it is, and overall, the maps and the characters look nice, and you can tell what was intended with every single stroke of the brush. Hi-Res went with a bright and beautiful color scheme, which honestly complements the game more than I could possibly say. The maps themselves in particular are very, very pretty, and if you take a look at some of the skyboxes, you'll be kind of amazed with what you see. You'll see some nice, tall trees, some beautiful skylines, and just overall a beautiful sight to see. While this definitely surpasses some of the detail in Team Fortress 2, I can't say that this is quite up to par with what Overwatch is currently presenting, as the maps in Overwatch are just too beautiful to ignore. But Paladin still brings a lot to the table as far as graphics go. Overall, for a game still in beta, I'm impressed with the graphics that I see. From what I have seen so far, all of the animations within Paladins are silky smooth. I haven't seen anything get caught up on something. All of the animations run perfectly smooth, and I haven't really seen any stuttering either. So I'm quite happy to say that everything moves relatively well within Paladins as far as the animation goes. and I have had the opportunity to play almost all of the characters within the game, so I can say with relative confidence that all of the characters play relatively smoothly, and I also haven't really seen any frame drops while I've been playing either. I know that's kind of unrelated, but just one other thing to take note of. However similar it may be to TF2 and especially Overwatch, Paladins is still its own game, and you can kind of feel that. So if you're ever tired of either game and you just feel like playing something similar but not quite Team Fortress 2 or Overwatch, maybe give Paladins a go. I found it a nice refreshing break to play something new, and it was definitely nice to step away from those games for a little bit. Paladins is definitely unique enough to give you a unique experience, and there's definitely something to be said about that. It did keep my attention for a good amount of time and help me, you know, kind of get over some of the staleness with Overwatch and TF2 that I was experiencing for a while. Alright guys, where do we start? Oh yeah, how about this? Seriously, what the hell is this? Why does somebody need so much health? 3,000 health? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, now I can see how you might think that's unimportant, but let me explain to you why that's a problem. A whole lot of this game is designed to trick you into think you're having a lot more fun than you actually are, and that you're a lot better at the game than you actually are. These are the same kind of tactics that people who make mobile apps tend to use to try and make you get addicted to their game. They make all the numbers needlessly large so that way they're way more satisfying to see on screen. I mean, if this guy didn't have so much freaking health, how else would you result in this freaking huge mess of numbers all over the screen? It makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're doing a lot of damage, as though you're actually succeeding at something, when in reality most of the time you ain't done jack shit. I mean, the game sounds more like a freaking slot machine than a first-person shooter. This was honestly a really disappointing thing for me to see, because it felt like the game was really trying to feel good rather than actually be good. The game would have worked just as well if instead of 3,000 health, good old Barrack here had just 300. But of course, that means all the damage numbers would also have to be pulled back, and that means we'd miss out on... But I think you get the idea. The gameplay in and of itself is okay. We only have 2 modes so far to go off of, and the shooting feels okay-ish. A lot of the guns don't feel like they have a lot of impact. And with the small amount of maps and modes, it is very easy to get bored with this game. And maybe it is just because it's in beta, but the game doesn't feel very polished. All of the actions that the characters do don't feel super... what's the word I'm looking for? Clean, I guess? All of this together just really kind of creates a sort of fake feeling that you get sometimes when you play a free-to-play game on, let's say, your iPhone. Like, you know that the game that you're playing is passable for what it is, but it doesn't really feel like as much care or passion went into it as the games that may have inspired it. And trust me, I'm not saying this is a bad game, but there are some glaring issues with it that need to be addressed. One of the more fixable things is the balance within the game. Some of the champions in the game are definitely overpowered, and some of them are drastically underpowered, and you can really feel it when you start playing against actual people and trying to coordinate pushes, you know, such as in payload and things. These balance issues are made even worse by the fact that you can't change champion in the middle of a game. So if you find yourself in a situation where your champion is drastically underpowered, either in general or against the team you're going up against, well, good luck, buddy. You're pretty much screwed until the end of the game. All of this can add up to an extremely not fun experience, especially when you're dying over and over again to the same guy just because his character is just that much better than yours. And of course, you know, you could say, oh, Sir Stanger, maybe you just suck at the game. And you know what? That's perfectly plausible. I'm probably not that great at Paladins, but still, I've heard from people who actually play the game quite often that there are many balancing issues within the game, and that certain characters are just a little bit overpowered in the current meta. Hey, and you know, speaking of things that aren't fun, what the hell is this? I'll tell you what this is. This is lazy map design. The horses in Paladins feel totally out of place, and they really only exist to get you out of spawn faster, which, you know what would also solve that problem? Forward spawns, which all other first-person shooters of this genre have except for Paladins. And you know, I think my main man Androxus says it best when he says, "This is no place for horses." And I mean, most of the champions look super silly on the horses anyway, so it doesn't really make any creative sense to me at all. Oh yeah, and speaking of horses, did I mention that you only get one unless you buy the full version of the game, which gives you like a awesome super magma horse looking thing? This is one of the few ways in which Paladins allows for customization, and they're all pretty much very shitty just recolor skins of the champions at large. And you know what? A couple of them are pretty cool. They did a couple full-on retextures of some of the champions, but most of them are complete garbage. And yet they're all rare as hell. It's hard as fuck to find any of them. You can really only get them by either spending real money or through random drops in the crates you get every single time that you level up, and they're very, very uncommon in those crates, which to me is kind of unacceptable, especially when most of them don't even look very good. And speaking of things that don't look very good, I'm not a big fan of the character designs either. I know that Paladins already gets a lot of shit for this, but man, a ton of the characters just feel like direct rip-offs of other characters from other games. And I know that some people really feel like Overwatch did this, but man, it's nowhere near the level of Paladins level rip-offery. That's a word now. I mean, we have Makoa, who is totally Roadhog, Fernando, who is absolutely a Reinhardt clone, and the list just goes on, and you know what, by far the one that bothers me the most is Pip. As though nobody was gonna notice that he looks and acts and talks exactly like Ratchet from Ratchet & Clank. Pip's ultimate ability lets him turn his enemies into chickens for a short period of time, and guess just what so happens to be one of the main weapons from the Ratchet & Clank series. That's right, a gun that can turn people into chickens. And sheep, but that's besides the point. They even hired voice actors that sound very similar to the original Ratchet voice actor.
What's that?
Huh? Oh, I said thank ye for those words of wisdom.
When do we get paid? After we win?
Is it exactly the same? No, but any closer and they'd be, you know, on the verge of copyright infringement. Sorry, a little bit of personal salt there. I'm a bit of a big fan of the Ratchet & Clank series. But the voice acting in general in this game just kinda ticks me off. All the characters sound pretty annoying, and for some goddamn reason, they have to say their name every time you select them.
Evie!
Barrack! Bum King!
I personally think it sounds so dumb for a character to kind of roll call themselves like that.
Roll call!
I'm Amber!
Brad!
Tammy!
Fender!
Brenda!
Sketch!
Shelly!
IQ!
Luann!
Joey! Mikey!
Vicky! Becky!
Vic! Jesse!
Darla!
Holly!
Noreen! Doreen!
And I'm...
Androxus.
It's just silly, and it adds just that much more of a layer of fakeness onto the top of this game. And you know what, you might think that I'm picking on Paladins for relatively small issues and just tiny little problems throughout the game. And you know what, you're right, that's what pisses me off about it. This is Hi-Res Studios we're talking about here. These are the guys that made Smite. And yes, I've played Smite, and I liked it quite a lot. So the fact that they came out with this game that is... ah, gosh, it just feels like duct tape and hope being held together. It's infuriating. This game had and still has the potential to be something truly great, and it just feels like it's just not there. It's really just relying on other games that were more successful than it will ever be to try and be something not crap. And the game itself isn't terrible. That's what's so frustrating about it, is that it really could be a lot better than it currently is. And I'm really hoping that Hi-Res notices these glaring issues and kind of takes notice of them and fixes them along the line. If you've taken any interest from this game from this video, please, I encourage you to go try the game for yourself. It is free, and you can try it for as long as you like. Go on ahead and develop your own opinion about this game. Don't let me tell you how to think. I want you to tell me how you like this game. At the end of the day, I feel like both TF2 and Overwatch are better games than the current Paladins that we have available to us. I know Paladins is currently just in beta, but as it stands, it just cannot hold its weight against Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, both of which I consider to be much more polished games that are just much more fun to play. And you know what? I'm absolutely certain I'm going to get a ton of hate for this video, and that's perfectly fine. I know some people really want to play this game and really want to defend this game, and you know, to each his own. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I'm really happy that there are some people out there who can find a lot of happiness in this game. And you know what? I personally am not going to uninstall this from my computer. If I ever want to take a break from Overwatch and TF2, I'm probably just going to play a round or two of Paladins, just because it's already there and it's a game on the side. But please, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. I want to know what you guys think about Paladins. If you've played Paladins, please tell me. If you haven't, go give it a shot. I encourage you to, form your own opinion about it. Also, I just wanted to make sure that everybody here understands that as long as I have a YouTube channel, I will be putting out Team Fortress 2 content. Just because every now and again I put out a video like this that's not about TF2, doesn't mean that I don't put out TF2 content. So, please, calm yourselves. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. And with that, let's keep the internet classy. I'll see you then.
Drux's death awaits you all!
Hello, my name is Sir Stanger. Hello, my name is Sir Stanger. Hello, my name is
Excuse me!
My name is Sir Stanger. Hello,
Can I have the
my
attention
name
of the
is-
internet?
My name
For
is
1 second!
My name is Sir Stanger.